April 1943, British Special Forces, HQ, Cairo. A commander opens Anders Lassen's after-action report. 5 words. That's it. 5 words for an entire night raid behind enemy lines. Landed, killed Germans, fucked off. The commander stared at it. Read it again. Then called Lassen in. Is this your entire report? Lassen shrugged. It covers everything that happened. Now think about this. Most soldiers write pages after a raid. What went wrong? What went right? Casualties, ammunition used, routes taken. Lassen wrote 5 words, because for him, the rest was obvious. You go in. You do the job. You leave. What else is there to say? This is Anders Lassen, the Dane who fought for Britain, the only non-Commonwealth soldier in all of World War II to win the Victoria Cross, the SAS's most lethal operator, and a man who, by all accounts, had absolutely no business being a war hero. Let me explain what I mean by that. Anders Lassen was born in 1920 in Denmark. Wealthy family, big country estate, silver spoon, the whole thing. You'd think a kid like that would coast through life. Private schools, university, nice job somewhere comfortable. Not Anders. He hated school, hated authority, hated being told what to do. He left in 1938 with the worst exam results in his entire year. His teachers wrote him off. His family didn't know what to do with him. So he did what rebellious young men with nothing to prove did back then. He got on a ship, merchant navy, sailing the world. No rules, no classrooms, no one telling him to sit down and behave. And then April 1940 happened. Germany invaded Denmark. In one morning, his country was gone. Lassen's ship was docked in Britain when he heard the news. He had a choice. Try to get home or stay. He stayed. Not because he had a plan, not because someone recruited him with a big speech about duty and honor. He stayed because he was furious. And fury, it turns out, is a very useful quality in a commando. Someone from British Special Operations Executive found him. SOE, Churchill's Secret Army. The officer heard Lassen was Danish, spoke multiple languages, was physically exceptional, and was the kind of man who solved problems with his hands first, and his words never. Perfect. They put him in number 62 Commando, the small-scale raiding force. The job was simple. Go behind enemy lines, cause as much chaos as possible. Come back. Don't write long reports about it. Lassen took to it immediately. Here's the thing you need to understand about Anders Lassen. He wasn't just brave. Lots of soldiers are brave. He was something different. He had what his commanding officer later called a complete absence of self-preservation instinct combined with extraordinary tactical instinct. In other words, he genuinely didn't seem to care if he lived or died, but he always seemed to know exactly what to do in a firefight. That combination, that specific combination, is extraordinarily rare and extraordinarily lethal. January 1942, West Africa, first major operation. The island of Fernando Po, neutral Spanish territory. 3 Axis ships anchored in the harbor. An Italian merchant vessel and 2 German ships. The British wanted them. Problem: you can't just attack a neutral country's port. International incident, diplomatic nightmare, so they had to be creative. The plan? Lure the ship's officers ashore to a party, then steal the ships while they're drinking. Lassen led the boarding party in the dark. They came in quietly, overpowered the skeleton crew before anyone could react. By the time the officers came back from their party, the ships were already being towed out to open sea. The Germans and Italians stood on the dock, watching their ships disappear over the horizon. Lassen got a military cross for that one. He was 21 years old, but that was nothing compared to what came next. Crete. Lassen and a small team had to raid a German airfield. Getting in was the problem. Armed guards, checkpoints, the whole thing. So Lassen did something that tells you everything about the man. He dressed as a German officer, walked straight up to the sentries, 3 of them, in the dark, spoke to them in German, bluffed his way past all 3, got onto the airfield, and then the commando in him took over. Now can you imagine that? Pretending to be the enemy? getting close enough to touch them, knowing that if one of them looks too hard, if one of them asks the wrong question, it's over. Most people would freeze. Lassen kept walking. Second military cross. But here's the quote I love. His men started calling him the Terrible Viking. His commanding officer, the Earl of Jellicoe, described him like this. He had all the qualities of the buccaneering Viking: extraordinary courage, physical endurance, devil-may-care attitude, and a burning desire to be at the enemy's throat at all times. Devil-may-care attitude. That's a very polite way of saying he didn't know the meaning of the word fear. Off-duty, Lassen was notorious. Hard drinker, brawler, terrible for regulations. On duty, completely different man, focused, calm, lethal, like a switch flipped. 1943 and 1944. The Aegean Islands, Lassen, and small SBS teams, sometimes just 6 or 7 men, raided German-held islands across the Mediterranean. Santorini, Mykonos, Rhodes, Paros. They'd come in at night by boat, hit the garrison, destroy the radio equipment, take prisoners if possible, leave before dawn. German commanders across the region started reporting the same thing. Unknown enemy force. No warning. Positions destroyed. Personnel killed or missing. Then gone. They couldn't figure out where the attacks were coming from. They couldn't figure out how to stop them. And Lassen's after-action reports? Still 5 words. Landed, killed Germans, fucked off. Third military cross. At 23 years old, he had more decorations than officers twice his age. April 1945. The war is almost over. Germany is collapsing on every front, but in northern Italy, the Germans are still holding. Lake Comacchio, a massive shallow lagoon on the Adriatic coast. The Allies needed to break through the German defensive line there. But first, they needed a distraction. Something to make the Germans think a huge force was coming from the north shore of the lake. Pull their attention, pull their reserves, give the main attack a chance to punch through somewhere else. Who do you give that job to? You give it to Lassen. April 8, 1945. Night, Lassen leads 19 men along a narrow road on the north shore of Lake Comacchio. No reconnaissance. They don't know exactly what's ahead, just the objective. 3 enemy positions. Take them out. Make enough noise for a regiment. They move in silence. Then, a German sentry. Challenge. Lassen tries to talk his way through. Says they're fishermen, the German doesn't buy it. Machine gun fire opens up, and Lassen does what Lassen always did. He went forward, into the fire, not back, not sideways, forward. He took out the first position, moved to the second, took that one too. His men following, fighting through the dark. Third position, Germans apparently signaling surrender. Lassen moved to accept it. A burst of fire, he went down, mortally wounded. His men rushed to him. They wanted to evacuate him, get him out. Lassen refused. He told them they were still under fire. If they stopped to carry him, more of them would die. Leave me, complete the mission, go. They obeyed. The mission was completed. The Germans were thrown into confusion. The main Allied attack punched through. Anders Lassen died on the shore of Lake Comacchio. He was 24 years old. Think about that for a second. He's lying there, mortally wounded, and his last thought is about his men getting out safely. Not himself, them. 3 months later, King George VI called Lassen's parents to Buckingham Palace. He pinned the Victoria Cross on their chests. The only Victoria Cross ever awarded to a soldier of the SAS. The only one ever given to a non-Commonwealth soldier in all of World War II. The citation said he showed magnificent leadership and cool, calm courage. Lassen's old commanding officers read that and probably smiled. Cool and calm. Sure, if 5-word after-action reports count as cool and calm. Here's what I keep thinking about with this story. Lassen left school with the worst grades in his class. His teachers wrote him off. His family didn't know what to do with him. And he went on to become the most decorated foreign soldier in British history. The only SAS soldier to ever win the Victoria Cross. He didn't fit the mold. He never fit the mold. And that's exactly why he was so good at what he did. Because the enemy could never predict him. Because the rules he followed were his own. Because a man who doesn't care about the right way to do things is very, very dangerous when pointed at the right target. His teachers said he had no future. They were wrong. He just had a different one than they expected. Drop a comment below. Had you heard of Anders Lassen before this? Most people haven't, and that's exactly why these stories need to be told. If this story moved you, hit that like button. Every like tells YouTube to show this to more people. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week, we bring back the soldiers history forgot. Anders Lassen died at 24. He deserves to be remembered.